there, guys and gals. Welcome back to Back Pocket Game Reviews, and today we're going to talk briefly about Reggie fils-aime taking over at GameStop. I shouldn't say taking over because he's not the CEO, but we'll get into that. I'm about to go to work. Wanted to get this video up today. I overslept. We will also be streaming Call of Duty's Battle Royale tonight, so tune in for that. So, big news came out of GameStop yesterday. It's like the first time I've seen GameStop trend on Twitter for not a bad reason. Yeah, trust me, I'm just as shocked as you are. But Reggie fils-aime is going to be one of the board members of GameStop Corporation going forward. So GameStop's been trying a lot of things to change and evolve. They've got multiple different stores right now trying different things to try to see what kind of formats would work better. They're closing a lot of stores. Most of those stores have other GameStops near them. And a big part of the reason is, back in the day, that used to be how you competed with Walmart. You used to have a store everywhere. However, what the issue is now is retail has slowed down. So unfortunately, a lot of these stores that are too close to other stores are now cannibalizing the other stores' sales, which is unfortunate, but that's sort of how retail works to a certain degree. Not saying that it's good that people are losing their job, but GameStop expanded so much because they wanted to be able to compete with companies like Walmart. And as the retail market changes, you have to be able to change as a company as well. Other things they are currently doing to change and evolve is they have several different stores set up in a test mode, so to speak. They have stores that are just specializing in retro. Literally, there are GameStop stores where you can go in and get NES and N64 games. They have GameStop stores right now set up as hangouts where you can play like different consoles. They have it almost looks like an internet cafe or like a gaming tournament lounge. And then they have other stores that just have like a couple CRT TVs and like GameCubes and stuff hooked up. So, and you can rent these consoles or rent to play whatever game you want in that area for X amount of dollars, which is kind of a cool concept. In case you haven't been on my channel very long, about 2 or 3 years ago, I made a video titled The BPGR Game Store. And in that, I detailed out what I wanted to start as a store if I ever were able to get the capital. That was actually a part of what I wanted to do. And another thing they're doing is some stores are even getting tabletop gaming areas. So like Magic the Gathering, Warhammer, that kind of stuff, which it is nice to see them at least trying new things. They're throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks at very least, which is probably a very smart idea. The collectibles didn't really pan out quite as well as GameStop had hoped. And don't get me wrong, there are some great collectibles that GameStop gets. However, I would probably say about 80% of it is junk that no one wants. They doubled down on pop figures, and, well, the pop fad has really just sort of died out at this point. Pop figures really aren't a big trend at this point. So they brought in Reggie fils-aime. We're going to talk about him first. He is a huge thing for them to bring in. Obviously, Reggie is a businessman. He worked for Nintendo, and he is absolutely beloved within the game industry. The last we saw him was at the Game Awards shortly after he had retired from Nintendo, and we all believed Reggie was just retiring. He was going to take some time to spend with his family. And keep in mind, he still won't be taking over in any capacity for another couple of months. But once he becomes a board member, the kind of curiosity that I have now is how much are they going to let him impact and how much are they going to actually allow him to change? Because if you were to listen to Reggie, he made a lot of changes while he was at Pizza Hut, and he made a lot of changes while he was actually at Nintendo and did a lot of things to help Nintendo through some bad times, like with the Wii U. And unfortunately, the Wii U wasn't salvageable, but he was very vocal that he didn't agree with the marketing of the Wii U, and he didn't agree with how they named it. He said in America that he didn't think that was going to turn out right. Well, I'll be damned. He was right. The 3DS, he was a very integral part of. The 3DS started off as a failure. That was an absolute failure of a handheld. And him and Satoru Iwata were able to turn that around, and they got that to be one of the most successful handhelds out of Nintendo's entire history. So he's definitely tried and true. He was also there during the Wii era. So he had success out the gate on certain things. And he is someone who's very good with people. He's very believable and likable. So honestly, I mean, one of the hopes I really have is I'd love to walk into GameStop and that's who's on GameStop TV rather than these dumbasses that they put on there that I just cannot. There was a girl when I worked there who literally the sound of her voice made me want to pull my hair out. I would love to see Reggie on GameStop TV. He is a great face for that company, and he can do some very pro-consumer things, because that is something Reggie was very big on. He's also very big on changing innovation, introducing new ideas. That was a big part of what he did while he was at Pizza Hut. So I am curious to see how that pans out. They also brought in 2 other board members. One is a former CEO of Walmart, and the other is a former CEO of PetsMart. So my ideas and thoughts on why they would bring in from Walmart and PetsMart is GameStop has had a big issue with growing their omni-channel. And what omni-channel is essentially online sales, whether those online sales are products getting shipped directly to you from stores, or products getting shipped to you from your website, or you buying something online to be able to pick up in store. That is what an omni-channel return essentially, or omni-channel purchases, is essentially those types of purchases. Walmart has done a lot, like with the Walmart lockers. You can literally order a bunch of stuff on Walmart, go in, have a pin for this locker, and boom, get your stuff and go. You don't even have to talk to an associate at any real point. So that's a huge thing that Walmart's done. Walmart's obviously also put a marketplace on their website, so you can actually buy stuff on Walmart.com that actually isn't sold by Walmart itself. So Walmart has very much so evolved to be somewhat like an Amazon. Now, personally, I don't shop much at Walmart, and I honestly have never bought anything on Walmart.com because it's Walmart.com. I don't like Walmart. Next up is PetsMart. Again, another company that really grew their omni-channel. So GameStop's website and GameStop's traffic of online sales and their footprint of being an online retailer is very small, especially in comparison to, Amazon. And don't get me wrong, no one in this world can truly compete with Amazon in terms of size on online retailers, but these are both retailers that clearly have made huge strides to be competitive in that space. GameStop's infrastructure isn't truly set up right now to really become that. A lot of that was very evident when they tried to do the game rental thing, and even their in-store computers just couldn't handle it. It was too much on the system. The website got hacked once, and they didn't know for months until an outside security firm was like, hey, you got hacked a while back. Literally, they had to get told by other people that they were hacked. They didn't hire this firm because they thought they were hacked. This firm just had to let them know, hey, you got hacked. That was a huge deal. So I am curious to see what these 3 individuals are able to bring about in GameStop. And I'm really hoping a lot of it is pro-consumer change, because I would like to see GameStop survive. I don't really want them to die off. Could they get my business back again? Possibly, for stuff like Nintendo games and collectibles. I do still occasionally go in for collectibles, like my Rainbow Six Chibi figures that I buy. GameStop's like the only retailer that carries those. Usually I just go into the app, place them on hold. That's how I pretty much buy almost anything at GameStop, unless I'm planning on getting a gift card. Then I just go in, 'cause I get gift cards for Christmas and my birthday to GameStop, because my whole family just doesn't understand Best Buy. Nick goes to Best Buy. It's, oh, Nick shops at GameStop. He talks about GameStop a lot on that YouTube channel of his. Let's get him some GameStop cards. So, I usually go in and buy digital codes, like digital cards, and then go home and buy my game digitally. A lot of times it's cheaper than what GameStop even has it for used. So I would like to see how this evolves, and obviously Reggie is someone who is very well versed in the gaming industry. He's been in it for quite a while and in a very successful capacity, and at very least, nothing else, GameStop has a terrible relationship with Nintendo. Like, absolutely trash relationship with Nintendo. Those of you who work for GameStop can even say, hey, we don't get much Nintendo games in outside of the pre-orders. It's just they don't get a lot of inventory. And a lot of that has to do with bridges they've burnt over time, like when we talked about the Xenoblade Chronicles game for the Wii, and a couple other bad practices that they instigated with exclusive games that they got, and controlling the inventory and literally just scheming the system. So they wound up burning some bridges with Nintendo, and Reggie could help them reestablish and possibly even get Nintendo events back into their store to a better capacity, like the Street Pass events and stuff like that. So that'd be very interesting to see how at least that works out in the long run out of this partnership here. And obviously I will always wish Reggie the best of luck in anything he does, because I love Reggie. I think Reggie's an awesome individual and probably one of my favorite people in the gaming industry, especially since Daddy Todd has let me down so many times. If you don't know who Daddy Todd is, that's Todd Howard. It was an ongoing joke. People call him Daddy Todd. I feel like Bethesda's kind of just, they've touched me in places that I didn't want to be touched. So, guys, I'm curious what your thoughts are. Do you think Reggie can save GameStop? Because if he can't, I literally assure you almost no one can. Like, we're at that point. And GameStop's ship is starting to go down. It is taking on water. I would at least say 2 of the bulkheads have been filled if this is the Titanic. Also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a thumbs up for me. You can click that subscribe button, ding the bell, stick around a little longer. Again, as I said, I'd be on later tonight. We also have channel memberships now available. I had some people who pulled out of Patreon because they absolutely hate Patreon due to some things Patreon does. Apparently, Patreon has banking issues all the time with certain banks. And if you want to join back into it, essentially, that's what channel memberships are. Different tiers, stuff like that. Guys, I love you all. I will see you all soon. I'll have plenty more content coming for you.